Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Venture capital firm Avaana Capital, in partnership with Startup India, recently held a grand challenge for climate tech innovation. This to highlight the potential of India's startups in driving climate action. In a chat with Akhil Vishwanath, Avaana Capital's founding partner Anjali Bansal decodes emerging themes within climate tech and what more needs to be done to boost the startup participation in paving low-carbon pathways for the country's green transition. Take a look.
We were very energized to see the quality of founders, and that really, as you know, was the purpose behind putting together the Grand Challenge to create this platform. We saw 400 plus applications coming from all across India. 60% and more than 60% were from outside the metro hubs that are startup hubs, Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad. More than 30% were female. We had a number of startup applications from remote areas in the Northeast, in J&K. So really good to see all of Bharat coming together to solve for the climate problem for Bharat. And in some ways, in India, we have mastered frugal technology, dare I say, or at least we are on our way to mastering frugal technology.
Not just frugal technologies, but breakthrough technologies as well. And when we look at the three winners, we have Greenpod Labs, Ambient and Nexus Power. They're building sustainable materials, transforming waste to power advanced batteries, and also making our supply chains more energy efficient. You receive 400 applications here. And at Avaana Capital, you receive about 200 pitches and you assess them every single quarter from climate tech startups. Can you take us through some of the emerging areas within climate tech besides mobility and large renewable projects, because they usually tend to dominate conversations and funding as well?
So some very exciting breakthrough emerging areas, as you mentioned earlier as well, and reflected in the winners, and honestly also reflected in our portfolio. So you see new energy chemistries like Nexus Power that are using agri-waste to convert to energy in a much more efficient way. There is enough energy density to actually run a vehicle, for example. Or you take green pods, that is extending shelf life for fruit, reducing food wastage, and cooling. Ambienter cooling is already a significant issue in India and will be an increasingly difficult problem to solve, both for urban and non-urban housing, as well as in workplaces. So cooling technologies that are efficient, that are breakthrough, that are frugal, much required. We are starting to see a lot of interesting flow in addition to our current portfolio with Iki, Aram, Kazam, and Centra in energy efficiency, in industrial decarbonization.
One of the key themes that I also wanted to talk about was decarbonization of industrial manufacturing in the country. India is, of course, positioning itself as a global manufacturing hub. And we, in the largest startup ecosystem as well, we see India to the world theme gaining a lot of steam. But it's a great opportunity for climate tech startups to be able to capture it, because 50% of the carbon emissions in the country come from industries, and it's a great opportunity. But what are some of the key challenges that they could face in scaling such solutions, especially Centra World, one of your portfolio startups that is working towards decarbonizing industrial manufacturing?
Great question. Centra, I think, is building that breakthrough platform for hard-to-abate industries. So steel, cement, rubber, that will help them to both measure and mitigate Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 emissions. The question you asked about how will industrial India decarbonize and what is the connectivity, I think that there are 2 or 3 challenges here. One is providing financing for breakthrough startups, or startups that are creating new technologies for adoption. So they need funding, they need equity, debt, working capital, sometimes they need deep risk funding, patient capital to actually see the playbook through, but also connectivity to industry. So we need industry to start doing more sandboxing, more pilots, providing those POCs.
Avaana has announced the launch of the new fund for climate and sustainability last year. You announced the first close at $70 million, targeting a corpus of about $100 to $125 million. How many investments have you already made from the fund, and how many are you planning to make in 2024?
We launched the Avaana Climate and Sustainability Fund. We are India's first and largest thematically focused fund on climate. Climate is, of course, not a sector, it's a theme. It overlays from our investment strategy 90% of India's emission footprint across energy transition, supply chains, mobility, industrial decarbonization, and agriculture. So think energy security, food security, and supply chains. We are well on our way. We have received very good response from the institutional investor as well as some of the corporates. We are seeing excellent deal flow. We've, as you know, made about 5 investments. We continue to pace ourselves well.
With that, it's a wrap from Ritu.